In recent years, more and more women are talking about menopause, and it's no longer a condition where we need to suffer in silence. Roughly 1.3 million women enter menopause each year in the United States, and October has been designated Menopause Month as a way to bring more awareness to women and men and people of all ages about this natural life transition. Dr. Jessica Shepard, author of Generation M, joins us with what we need to know. And there's a lot to know.
There is so much to know, Hazel.
Good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Morning.
I am so glad that this is a conversation that people are more comfortable talking about. But, you know, women don't necessarily have to be afraid, right? I mean,
yeah.
And do you find it still that people are hesitant to talk about it?
I would definitely say that when women come into my office, they're still a little hesitant to talk about the symptoms that they're going through or that they may be in that transition. So we're really trying to change that narrative. Generation M is really focusing on how can we come into this transition gracefully and what are the tools that we can actually do before menopause so that we have a full understanding of that we can do this in our own way.
Okay, first question.
Yeah.
When should we talk to someone, and who specifically do we speak with?
I love that
menopause?
question, because who do we speak to? I think that, you know, in training, even as a board certified OBGYN, we really didn't get a lot of information specifically about menopause. So we're still at this area and this transition where we need to know more. So we do need a lot more training in the medical field. But as you can see that we're starting to talk about it more, there's more research, that we do have a lot more experts that are devoted to menopause and the menopausal health. But 6,000 women enter menopause a day. So obviously we need a lot more practitioners and doctors that are going to be able to handle this topic and get women into this transition healthily, and also making sure that they understand what they can do as they enter that phase.
Okay, perimenopause,
yes.
Menopause.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I think that's one of the biggest questions I hear, is that a lot of people have not heard of perimenopause. So menopause is when you have not had a cycle for 12 months consecutively. And at that point, that's when you have reached menopause. But perimenopause is kind of like this 3 to 7 time frame before menopause, where estrogen is starting to decline very slowly over these 3 to 7 or more years, and you start to feel symptoms. You may have changes in your cycle, and that really is that time frame. Usually in your 40s is when you're in the perimenopausal phase, but even in your latter 30s, you can be perimenopausal.
Yeah, so what would be the first sign then? Because like you said, it's getting younger, and sometimes there's a lot of really young women that start.
Yeah, and even women who, you know, even for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, women who are younger and have had breast cancer and had some surgeries or chemotherapy and their ovaries are not giving off estrogen, they also too are menopausal in a very early stage. So some of those signs and symptoms can be hot flashes or night sweats that come in frequently, changes in your cycle, it comes and it doesn't come.
Yes.
And then also maybe mood changes, irritability, sleep disturbances. So it all starts to kind of trickle in over this perimenopausal phase. And then when you hit menopause, usually in that first 2 to 3 years after menopause is when your symptoms are going to be at their most heightened kind of state.
Do you see me going, yes?
Yes, you're like, this is all true.
But are there ways to prevent some of those symptoms, whether it be, you know, exercising or even nutrition?
Oh, I love this question, because lifestyle really is the biggest part of how we get to choose and dictate what we want this transition to look like. Because nutrition, nutrition is going to change over that time and how our body takes in fuel and what's better for us as we start to age. And exercise, if I couldn't say that over and over again, is one of the best ways. I think exercise is a form of medicine, but specifically for menopause, you can really start to decrease some of those symptoms that you're having with increasing exercise and increasing weight training specifically. So Generation M has like a whole category on lifestyle and nutrition and exercise, because those are the things that we can do every day in our life.
So even things we eat can help with their symptoms?
Absolutely.
Okay, what about hormone therapy?
Yes.
Does that really work?
That is such a hot topic, no pun intended, right? You know, hormone replacement therapy is something that it's controversial, because a lot of people feel that hormones cause cancer. So kind of like coming out of the gate, estrogen does not cause breast cancer. We now know that. You know, 20 years ago it was kind of a controversial topic, but now we understand how beneficial hormone replacement therapy is, and that's going to be estrogen and progesterone and even testosterone. These are ways that we can kind of give back and kind of get those hormones back to a level where we're not feeling those symptoms, which is why we even have those symptoms in the first place.
Yeah, when you hear that though, that's kind of frightening for some people,
Exactly.
hormone therapy. Are there homeopathic ways or natural ways of dealing with it in the same way?
Yeah,
Or?
I think that hormone replacement therapy obviously is a big advocate for it. I do find that there are going to be patients and women who don't necessarily want to go the hormone route, and that's okay too. And there are things that you can do. I always say that complementary alternative forms of medicine can be with your mind work, with yoga, with mindfulness, acupuncture even. And even in the foods that you eat can really help with decreasing symptoms. And that's why the journey really should be individual in how you use some of your lifestyle factors, your homeopathic, remedies that you want, and even hormone replacement therapy. And you get to kind of choose how you want to go through perimenopause and menopause, and that's what Generation M covers.
I mean, we can't skip it. We can't go over it. We have to go through it.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that we can all go through it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming in and enlightening us.
Thank you, Hazel.
Appreciate your time.